Welcome back to another Teardrop adventure.
So this video is going to be about taking this Blue Eddy battery and using it to replace the existing batteries in the Teardrop. Currently we're using 12-volt pin batteries, like car batteries. I have one deep cycle battery in there, and then one that's lithium ion, but it still has the pins. So the thought is to take both those batteries out and replace it with this Blue Eddy here. It has a built-in inverter and it has solar charging port. So my trailer, my Teardrop, it runs on AC as well as the DC right here. So there's just a left and right like circle connector. So I have this connector right here that's just alligator clips and lighter plugs. So if I plug this into here and clip this onto the other circle connectors, whatever you call those, ring eyelets, then hopefully I should be able to power the DC fine. I just have to be careful because this connection to a circle eyelet, it might be a little bit, not so professional, but a little dangerous. So then I usually use these two batteries, the Jackery and this smaller Blue Eddy, to just switch off and power the fridge over here, which sits in the Jeep. And then I can charge these if I need to on solar, right? And I could also take the solar panel and give this Blue Eddy another boost if it starts to get low. The Vitamin probably would stay home, or it'll be a backup, depending on whether I have shore power. If I have shore power, I'll have the plug for this Blue Eddy, so it'll be charging from shore power through the input connector, and it's a battery plug. And then otherwise everything stays the same, so it'll just never go down. But otherwise, powering the Teardrop's still going to plug into AC here and DC there. So we'll have another video pulling out the old batteries and all the other stuff I don't need, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's the mess that we have right now. This one right here is the deep cycle 12 volt. So these are for charging from this charger, and these two also charge from that charger. So when I plug this into shore power through a extension cord at home, or if I'm on power, then this Genius charger will charge both of these. And then next we have the AC. So the AC is this cable that feeds the Teardrop's AC. So I have that plugged into here, into this GFCI power bank, and that charges from the inverter, which plugs into either of the batteries. So that powers the AC, and that's kind of complicated. So for the DC, we have this wire, negative, and the positive. So these eyelets go onto one of these batteries, and that powers the DC for the trailer. So now we're going to take out these batteries and then replace all this stuff with just the solar generator and see how that setup works. But first, before we do that, I'm going to give it a test. I'm going to plug this in and test a few things to see if there's any difference between the original setup and the new setup. Okay, so let's power everything. So now we have this battery set up to run everything. So it has the AC and the DC to the trailer, and then it has the alligator clips for the inverter. So now I just turn on the inverter, and then I turn on the GFCI power bank. Okay, so now everything has power. So now we'll go check out everything running in the Teardrop. Okay, so that didn't go well because we haven't charged this one. So I can see that if I do a test on it, I'm getting 1.13 volts instead of like 12.5, so this one is dead. And if I test the other one, getting 12.32, so this one's getting pretty low too. But I didn't power these back up or charge them since I did my last camping trip, so they're both getting pretty low. So maybe we'll start charging them here in a second. think we'll just take them out and we'll just charge them outside the Teardrop for now. Scrap that test and just go straight to the replacement, and we'll test it with the new battery. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling this stuff all out. Disconnect the charger. Disconnect the DC. This one comes, and out this one comes. Sorry, that noise is just me draining the hot tub. Gotta clean it. There's the Blue Eddy ready to go in. Okay, for the sake of this test, I'm not gonna unscrew the battery charger for now, in case I have to put everything back in, but otherwise it's ready. I'll just come back and take this out completely because it's screwed into them. Have some wires like a little bit connected here. All right, so let's put the Blue Eddy in. All right, it's a bit heavy. Ugh. Okay, will it lay down? Perfect, it lays down in here. Not really going anywhere. Okay, so let's plug it in. Later plug to the alligator clip. So plug this into the DC. And then I have the wires for the AC and DC, so take the negative to the negative. That's good. And the positive to the positive. That looks pretty good. Alright, so set those aside, being careful not to let them touch. Keep them nice and separate to the side. Okay. Now we gotta plug in the AC so that this is the actual plug for the AC for the Teardrop, so that goes into the GFCI still. So the GFCI then take its plug, and we'll plug that straight into the Blue Eddy's AC. Okay. So there, we are good. Okay. So now I can turn on the inverter. And I'll turn on my turn on the power for the whole thing first. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, and then turn on the DC and the AC. Okay, now I have power on the adapter here. So it's got no draw right now, so let's go turn a few things on and see what happens. Got power on there. I'm gonna open up this fan and turn it on. Maybe I'll plug in the TV too. I haven't got it hung up yet. Now we turned on the TV and the fan's running. Okay, let's see what the draw is there. Now, the draw is 17 watts and the hour is still 99.9 or more. 17 watts, 15 watts. That's with the TV on and the fan running. So let's go see what else we can turn on. The lights at the back. The only other thing I have really is back here is the water pump. I can't leave that on dry. Let's go see what else we have for power draw. I also put the fan to 3 just to see what it'll draw, but we only leave it at 1 at night. We have everything running. Okay, so let me just block the sun there so we can see we have 44 watts being drawn on the DC and 15 watts on the AC. So the total hours that'll run for is 31.7, and that is with full draw. So let me put it to a realistic draw. So I turned off the fan down to just 1, and the TV is still on. So now it's giving me 0 watts on the DC. It's probably like low enough that it can't even detect it. And I'm back up to 99.9 hours again. And the fans come on. Yeah, so the TV's even still on right now, and we only play that for like an hour at nighttime when we go to bed. That's about it, just for mostly white noise to go to bed. That's it. Yeah, so this will run forever. What actually happened is the AC's still working, but the DC's been lost, so nothing's running on the inside. So I wonder if one of these moved or something. Let's check it, see what the problem is. But we've lost the DC. And on one now, I think what happened was the negative slipped a bit, so we just have to be really careful that's tight enough. And now we're back to 20 watts. That's with the TV still on. We only run that for a short time though. And 16 watts is just there's a bunch of lights. So yeah, still really good. 53 hours, that's with the TV. And then watch if I turn the television off. Now we're back to 18 watts. So that's just the fan running on speed 1. So this is where we'll be sitting all night. So 18 watts draw on 2073 watt. I ran the math, so at 18 watts it'll run for 4.2 days. And that's just if I kept the fan running all the time. So that internal fan only runs overnight, so then during the day it'll be almost nothing when we're not using the Teardrop. So we're looking at probably, I think, about 6 days on this battery. And that's with no internal power, no power coming in. Meter here that tells me the voltage. So I can see I've got power on the USB, which is powering this one light, and then I've got 12.9 volts coming into this this DC plug. And 19 degrees Celsius. Pleasant. Better look at the kitchen and the Teardrop trailer in case you forgot what it looks like. I pulled out the batteries and the inverter. So next I gotta pull out the Genius charger. I unbolted the battery Genius charger, but I left those hanging there so in case I want to hang some hooks. Maybe keep a positive and negative separate. That'll be handy. So out comes the Genius. This thing's heavier than the box. Alright. There's the Genius charger. It's pretty big actually. The 2 batteries. So now pretty much everything's out. It looks a lot cleaner. Let's see if we can hang those wires. Hung those on loosely. At least they can be moved then if they need to be. And then I can keep them nice and separate and be clean for this plug. So let's clip these on. So that's perfect now. I can just hang them there and just clip them when I'm using them and then plug it in and turn on the DC. Pretty plug and play now. And then I just have this one plug for the AC and turn the switch on or off. And then I'll put the power bar for this thing inside here so I can charge from shore power. Simple, a lot cleaner. I love it. All that mess and complexity, now I should just take this inside and charge it. And when we're ready to go camping, I just drop it in fully charged with the charger sitting there if I have shore power. If I don't have shore power, just run off battery. And I can bring my solar panel and feed the solar panel into that side and charge it, or I can charge my other 2 smaller batteries like the Jackery and the Blue Eddy and then put them in here over on the side and feed from the smaller battery into this battery to keep it topped up if I need to. So in theory I could camp forever as long as it's sunny and I have some sun for my solar panel. Charging it back up. 930 watts. Oh, 1041. This thing charges crazy fast. It even has its lightning fast mode you can unlock, but certainly not recommended. It can be dangerous. But this one's plenty fast, just normal on the eco mode. And that's the empty compartment. No mess. Simple. Yeah, I'd say it's a complete success. I might have to think about getting some nicer connections, but They seem to work pretty good as long as I'm careful to clip it on solid.
More converter, because this one is 30 amp down to household, and I need a 50 down to household as well so that everything will work.
Yeah, but wraps it up. Got my batteries all pulled out. I'm gonna go charge my other batteries with the Genius in the garage. All right, thanks for watching.